And it's weird talking about it with people that didn't know me before, didn't know him before. It's like, where do you even start? But like,
Lord, are you for real right now? Like, have you really sent this person to me?
yeah.
I don't think it's super common to get deeper with God post-divorce the way that you two obviously did.
So today I actually wanted to try something new. I told Brian, but I didn't tell everybody else. We're gonna be playing a game called Rooted or Shaken. So let me go, Mike.
You are the game master, Roger.
So what it's gonna be is I'm gonna give situations, and you guys are gonna answer either rooted, which is a strong faith movement, or shaken is a moment you struggle in with your faith. This is for everybody. It's open-ended. However you want to answer, be honest. All right, so we're gonna play rooted or shaken. I'm gonna just give a quick example of one, something that'll be maybe easy for people to answer. First scenario is praying for something for years and seeing no answer. I would say that for me would be a shaken thing because I want an answer regardless if it's good or bad. I don't know. I just feel like it's something that if I'm praying for something, I at least want a sign or something saying whether to continue it or not to continue it. Whether I like it or not. But it's not my place to, whether or not God says yes or no. So it's kind of like one of those things that I am shaken by when I pray for something and don't see anything.
I see. Okay, I agree. Shaken's my answer.
Shaken for 500.
Hey Todd, I would bring your mic closer, or you're closer.
Every time. I think shaken for me too, just because I would wonder, am I praying for the right things? Is this really God's will? I guess maybe that can lead to rooted. But
I want to turn you up so much more.
It's gone.
While we're adjusting these stuff, I would probably say I think shaken, but I can also very well see rooted because like you said, Todd, like I think the initial response is like shaken because then that could lead to like questions and doubts of like why is there no answer or whatever, am I praying? I don't know, just that. But then that could lead to rooted being, because it would force me to go to the scriptures and be reminded of those truths that are like that remind me that like he is listening, and he's not left me, and there's a reason why there is no answer, like even if that is the answer, like, so that I think initially is shaken and then it can go to rooted.
Yeah.
I forgot there was a third option.
oh, there's a third option.
Grow.
Oh, well then grow. I take back what I say.
It's because I muted myself.
Well, yeah, his timing as well, right? Like we talk about how the Lord's timing is ultimately what's perfect. So his timeline almost always is different from ours. So I don't know. I feel like it can lead to that rootedness if like your prayers aren't being answered. Am I praying for the right thing? Is it his will? Those are questions that can come up, but also just that his timing is ultimately perfect. So kind of have to take faith in that.
That's good.
I would say for me, rooted actually. I'm unique in the way that I believe I'm unique in this way. My family.
You are unique.
My family, I had really good role models as parents, and they had to show a lot of trust in God when I was a kid. And just that example of like their faithfulness, like that concrete example for me to watch as a kid, it kind of taught me that it's going to be okay, and you don't just keep praying and God's gonna answer it one way or another. And and that's kind of how I've viewed the challenges in my life. So
It's a great first question. Thank you, Roger. You said there's more?
There's one more. Yeah, I just want to do something quick and easy, get everybody a little, open and comfortable. This one is church lifestyle, but feeling unnoticed or unappreciated while serving, which I know we're not supposed to seek praise while serving, and I don't, as you guys already know, I hate it. So for me, this is, I guess, rooted. I don't care if I'm noticed. I don't care for any awards, honor, or anything like that at all. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
I'll go next. I think one example came to mind when you said that, and growth is like the word that popped out for me, because I've been serving in church in a long time, and one of the churches I served at, we did this very big high school event that I was in charge of a lot of as a paid staff member. And after I quit and moved on, I was asked to come back and help kind of lead that role to help the new team succeed in doing the event. And when I went, it was like a whole weekend. I didn't get a single thank you. The whole, anytime after, I didn't get a letter. I didn't get, just not a text from the youth pastor. Hey, we really appreciated you doing all you did. And it was I didn't do it for them, but it would have been nice to just be recognized in a way.
Yeah.
But I was no longer involved in the youth group at the time. It was just this one-off thing that they asked me back for that I helped out with. So maybe they did, and they just didn't tell me, recognize me. And that, I guess, helps me grow into knowing, you don't need, you're not doing it for them. And so now I don't care as much. It's I know who I'm doing it for, so. And that's why I'll do it, not for the recognition. But, yeah.
Bars.
Okay, this is embarrassing. Mary and Martha. Martha's the worker bee.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm the Martha. I think it goes deeper even though for me than recognition, amongst the table here. It's I've come to points in my life where I feel man, God, I have just endured so much for so long. When are you gonna cut it out? Bring it to Him. Not even just feeling unrecognized by the Lord Himself, which is another level of crazy. So, yeah, unfortunately, you should give us an easier one next time. This one's also not rooted. What was it? Shaken. I'm shaken a little bit by it. I think it's gotten better though since becoming a mom, because you don't get recognized for really anything that you do from a 2-year-old. So I don't care as much, but sometimes, yeah, I will take it up with God. Man, I'm feeling small right now. And so I could definitely grow in that for sure.
So with these, I wanted to make sure there's no wrong answers on these at all. It's not I'm trying to trick somebody or anything like that. I just want to be open and honest with your spiritual journey, which is the point of this season. And I just thought these questions really were some are going to be a little bit harder than others. So it's just what is your honest feedback or thoughts, or how do you communicate with God in situations like this? Mm-hmm. So, don't feel bad it's shaking over and over again, because some of these I'm shaking. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't ask this one.
They found the most unworthy people to be here today. No.
Not true.
No.
You are incredible.
I don't know. For me, it's I feel maybe in my experience in serving, maybe I'm recognized more than I deserve, right? I'm up on stage quite a bit. Yeah, okay, I'm the bass player. I'm kind of in the background, whatever. But I'm still up there, still part of the worship team. Mm-hmm. I was asked to do this as well. I've been going to this church for like a little over a year. So like to me, maybe I'm getting more opportunities so quickly. Do I really deserve that? Like, am I worthy of that? So that's like where my head has been really since I started playing in the worship band back in the fall. I was like, why am I getting these opportunities? Why, this discipleship that I've had with you, Todd, and like just all these different things. It's like, am I worthy of that really, Lord? Like I kind of have this doubt, maybe like these feelings of unworthiness. Like this is all happening very quickly. And am I worthy of that? So.
What's up? Can you repeat the question, like word for word? Man, I should have brought my journal and everything. My bad.
I can't talk. Feeling unnoticed or underappreciated while serving.
Okay. I guess it just depends. I think it can be shaken. Like my initial natural reaction wants to be shaken, I guess, because like Nate was saying, like I'm not doing it for praise from others. I'm not doing it to be recognized. I don't I also feel like a little weird, like I don't know how to respond when I get complimented other than thanks, moving on. And so it's like, so I'm not doing it for that, but like, yeah, it is kind of encouraging, if you get I do this and get a text the next day of like, hey, like, thanks by the way for doing that. It's like, oh, I was seen, I was noticed, or like, and that's like cool. And so I think it can be shaken, but it could also be growing, because it reminds me, I guess it can be convicting if I am like low key like wanting that from other people, and then I get convicted of like, the Lord is already, saying proud of me, I guess, and that is like more than enough. That is like abundantly joyful to like think about and to know and truly believe. And so that should be enough. That should, even if I served in some way or did something that and then the fruit of it was good too, and I got no like, hey, good job, or thanks for doing this or whatever, like I should be completely okay and content with it, because like I know the Lord saw it, and was like, and he probably like, I obeyed him, so he's proud of me and all that. So, and that should be enough. So it could be convicting in that way to, set my mind to have that mentality. Yeah.
Guess I'm last on this one.
Yeah, this should be interesting, because I mean, you are the head of our worship and everything like that. So,
well,
how do you feel?
I'll tell you, this is a constant struggle for me, because I'm a words of affirmation guy, and there's a lot that people don't see, and I've constantly tried to come back to the truth of who am I doing this for, and remembering that I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm an unworthy servant, like the scripture says. John 5 says we live for the glory that comes from God. Romans 2 says we live for the praise that comes from God, which is super weird, because it's, even though you have a sense of that in your heart when you're doing something for the Lord, it's like delayed until you stand in front of him and he says, well done, good and faithful servant, so it's something I struggle with. And, and vulnerably, when you're the out front guy, people don't think you need it. So, and that's okay. I don't want to need it. I want to be satisfied with God's stamp of approval or disapproval, his discipline of my life. But when you're the, and so it's a constant struggle. I'd say it's an area of growth every week, almost every day, reminding myself who I'm doing this for. It's not for people, even though I serve people. I'm called to be a servant of people, of the Lord. But, yeah.
You know what? I don't know if this is healthy or not, but it's something that I think about. That if I don't, it's definitely a possibility that God finds someone else to do what he's asked me to do, and that I said no or missed the opportunity. But there's also the possibility that I get into heaven and he says, what happened here? I gave you this opportunity, you missed it, or you didn't do it, or you were too prideful, or you were, whatever. And it's so that's something that keeps singing in my brain of man, it doesn't matter who's around, who's looking, who's whatever. If he's asked, the answer should be yes. But also, while you're talking, I was looking up, you remind me of this verse, Colossians 3:23-24. It's the one that says, whatever you do, do it all as unto the Lord. Which is really hard when you're cleaning. Sorry to the viewers, but I have a 2-year-old. We're potty training. And just right before we walked out the door this morning, just the poop situation that happened. And then we were 20 minutes late. We went, and I was not okay. I am laughing out of uncomfortability right now. I was screaming at my 2-year-old, and it's in those moments, who's recognizing you literally cleaning the poop off, of the toilet, of the stairs, of the clothing that I actually just threw in the trash. I was and then we're doing that. Your message today is that's what we're doing. We're cleaning poop half the time off this world or off, and no one's there to recognize it, but you still do it as unto the Lord. And I did, by the way, I had to apologize to my 2-year-old for screaming at him because he's 2, what is he supposed to do or know? And instead of telling him, try again next time, I'm screaming at him, you're getting poop everywhere.
Y'all are so humble. Such good parents.
Well, motherhood is a thankless job too. It's a very, I'm obviously not a mother, but I have got to know, my sister is in young motherhood now with an 8-month-old, and that gives a fresh perspective, right? And just how hard of a job it is, and how thankless it is, because it's part of being a mom, but it is all the time. It's constant. It's there's never really a break. Even when he's napping, you're just all right, we got to do this when he wakes up and this. And so it's props to all the moms out there. Y'all are awesome.
Amen.
You have a tough job.
Yeah.
But really, as unto the
The
Lord.
toughest job in the world, probably.
I've heard Tim Keller say that sincere parental love is the closest thing we probably have to God's covenant love for his people on earth.
And I do want to say it is amazing, side note, to apologize to our children, because growing up, for sure, I never got that treatment. Everything I did was wrong no matter what. So it's one of the generational curses thing that I really appreciate people stepping out to do. Because yes, 2 years old, what do they know? It takes me a second sometimes when I'm upset in my marriage process. She's 6. What does she know? They're 9. What do they know? They're children. We as adults don't understand everything. So how would we expect children younger than us to understand everything? And that's awesome to hear that, somebody else out there is also taking claim to being like, hey, I did make a mistake. I'm sorry. I was upset. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel what you feel. It's also okay to recognize when you're in the wrong yourselves, which is, I mean, I feel like that's a great thing to tell your children. It's okay to feel, but it's okay to apologize afterwards when you're wrong, in a sense as well. But yeah, sidebar. Sorry. No, you're fine.
I'm glad that.
Like I said, growing up, it was just one of those things, like, no matter what I did, I felt like I was always in the wrong. I guess it's probably why I don't like praise and stuff. Like, I never felt like I did anything wrong, and I still don't feel like I do anything wrong, or right. I mean, everything's wrong, and I don't do right, but I don't care. But now that we played the game, let's get into the actual episode.
Yeah.
That was a long, yeah.
That was a little bit of a long
What an
game.
intro.
Yeah.
No, it was good though.
Yeah.
was
It's
good.
like I said, it felt like it's to open up and make sure everybody was open and vulnerable and honest. So, hey, Joe, how about you do the intro today, since it's been a while since we've done one? And I think Todd did the last. I did the last one, and Todd did the one before. So, yeah.
Sure. So welcome to the Planted podcast. It is sponsored by and hosted by Greenhouse Church in Athens, Tennessee. Lead pastor Todd over here. I'm Joseph. To my left is Brian, and then
Wow, that was dirty.
we have Roger, our director and producer. And then our guest today, it's a lovely Christian couple in our church, Nate and Courtney Cazares. And Courtney is oftentimes up there singing and leading us in worship. Her and Ashton make a very dangerous duo. And so I have got to know Courtney pretty well through the worship band stuff. And, you know, when we started this podcast up, y'all made the short list pretty quickly because I was like, I think they would be a great couple to have on. So that's that. Welcome to the show.
You're forgetting something.
Which is?
They do something else for the church as well.
Oh, that's right. They do the coffee church. So
The coffee church.
coffee church.
Church coffee.
Church plant.
Yes. So they have a fancy little espresso machine station situation on the far side when you walk in. All proceeds go to our church building. We have the land, but we do not have a building yet. And so all the money goes to that. It's an awesome cause. It's a cause dear to us. Like, we are so ready to have a building and like have a place, especially us worship band people. It's the setup and tear down every day is tough. So yeah, it's awesome what y'all are doing with that. And don't you have like an event business too, right? Like you manage an event business. So, and I don't know, maybe we could sort of start there with like how you two, you know, live and work together and own that company together and do that stuff.
Well, before we do that, can we first, how did you guys get here to Greenhouse? How about that? Let's start with there.
So what everyone wants to know.
Yeah.
Well, that's a loaded question. So here specifically to Greenhouse or to Athens?
How Athens first?
Okay. So my family moved. I'm one of 5. And pretty much all of them moved a few years ago, 2022, October of 22. And it was kind of around the time we met. And I didn't plan on moving across the country. I was just graduating college and I wanted to be a police officer in San Diego. And then we had our kid after we got married a few years later. And I'm like, you know what, Courtney, I told you that when we got married we weren't gonna move, but yeah, we're gonna move. And so that's kind of what brought us here. Come from a big Mexican family, and we value family very heavily. And just my whole family's been really close my whole life. and raising children in a world without like my family, with cousins, with siblings. It's just a foreign life to me, and I didn't want to choose that for my kids in San Diego. it's just a much more difficult, like, way. It's a more difficult life as a Christian to live in a place like San Diego. It comes with its perks. I mean, San Diego is probably the most beautiful place, one of them in the world, and one of the coolest places to be. That's a different conversation. But yeah, my brother-in-law and sister found Athens through going to jiu-jitsu at a gym here, and then they ended up moving here a little while later, and then we kind of trickled in after that. So yeah, Greenhouse specifically. We were church hopping when we moved to figure out where we wanted to land, and when we got to Greenhouse, Eric Payne met us. Courtney was pregnant, and he asked Courtney, well, like, I don't remember.
It was right before the Friendsgiving, and they announced Eric and some guys are gonna do the grilling and the smoking of the meat, and you just bring a side, I guess. And we were talking to him, and I was like, well, he can smoke meat too. Like, he can help you if you want help. He's like, no, we got it covered. You guys just come. And he's like, okay, well, I smoke brisket. Like, she loves brisket. Like, she's pregnant and she loves brisket. And so then when we showed up to Friendsgiving, the line, I don't know if we were late or like what, I think we were probably late. And the line was already, halfway through, and obviously the brisket was gone by then. And Eric walks over to our table with a plate that had foil over it. He had put aside for me to get there, and we were just like, that was so thoughtful and so kind.
Good job, Eric Payne.
He's one of our deacons, right?
Yeah.
Very Eric Payne thing to do.
And it was delicious.
I think he even did it this year too. Or
Save me some. Yeah. 'Cause
Kara
Lord
probably
knows-
told him to.
Lord knows we're late.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes, there's a wonderful woman behind every great man.
Yeah. And then also Ariana and Cecilia, I remember, sat with us. Sat with you.
Which actually, Ariana told me Michelle did tell her to do that. She didn't want to sit with us. No, I'm just kidding.
Michelle is great at spotting people and then rallying others to go
Yes.
That makes sense.
meet with them.
Yeah.
She's
But
great at that.
me and Ariana, she was one of the first friends that I made. So, and her kid and our kid is very similar in age. So we got together and because we were pregnant too, I mean, the whole season has just been like the craziest transition of my life, of our lives. And we got pregnant like 5 seconds after moving here, and it's like, that's just what we needed. Lord, another child right now.
We did though. I love him so much.
He's just the smiliest, cutest little baby.
Yeah, he's really cute.
But Ariana, the home group, everybody, we jumped right in because you can't be known anywhere that you're not. And so we jumped right in, and like we were really surrounded and well received, and the home group with giving us diapers and all of that. And Ariana showing, there were many days that I had my baby right in the middle of the summer, and it's hot out here in Tennessee. It's moist out here in Tennessee. And so we just sat outside while the little boys ran around, and I'm just holding the baby, and if the toddlers went running, Ariana went chasing them, and I just sat with my baby, and it was really, really sweet. So there's a few people, we're probably missing a few people that came alongside us when we first came, but that's the story.
And you all have really jumped in. Both matter of fact, the space that we're sitting in, Courtney helped design, and Nathan helped execute. So probably between the two of y'all, you've put over 150 hours in the space, maybe more, maybe 200 hours in, and we're still not done with it. And y'all have just volunteered, stepped in, answered a prayer. Thank you.
And you provided chairs for our Ash Wednesday service, those nice event chairs. So that was
That's a
also
good segue into their event business.
I'm always thinking.
Shameless plug.
Always
yes.
It's good.
The Village event rentals, because it
you
takes a
want-
village, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me your logo so I can put it on the
Yeah, we
video.
will.
Trust me.
So fun story about our logo. It's like this little village there. We started a nonprofit like in San Diego before we came here. And then obviously it kind of like fizzled and we moved here. But the idea was to kind of, I guess it wasn't a nonprofit, it was like a for-profit for nonprofit, if that makes sense.
We
Like,
were going
would-
to sell merchandise to donate the proceeds to families, adoption families, or like whatever
or
families
other
might need it.
nonprofits
Yeah.
that were doing that, you know. So like we were for profit, but it was like not really. So that's where the logo. It wasn't Event Rentals, but it was that logo, and it was just the village, and we kind of love that, just because I mean, life's hard, and you can't do it alone. So the whole it takes a village thing, and usually it takes a village to raise a child, but I mean it takes a village to find a church, it takes a village to paint a warehouse, takes a village to find a job, you know, the
To
whole
set
thing.
up tables at your wedding.
Yeah, so we, yeah, to plan a wedding takes a village. So that's kind of where that came from. But yeah, we just started the business out here in October. I work full time.
I'm the full-time mom in the family.
Yeah, stop.
No, I'm not kidding.
Well, to be fair, he added probably like 75 grand in equity into our house in less than a year. He put a whole 2-bedroom, 1-bath rental in our basement after we bought the house and moved in. So he worked really hard to now be at home with our babies while I'm working. But it won't always be this way. Eventually, the Village Event Rentals will take off and we will only work for ourselves. And then be able to spend unlimited amount of time with our kids together. So that's the dream. But right now I work full time for a different company. But yeah, I don't know if there was a question in there, if we're just ranting now.
No, you're good. You're good. Where do you guys' like desire to be so selfless come from? Because you guys do, like we've already talked about, you guys do so much for so many people without really being noticed or appreciated. And it's amazing to know people still like that don't want, you know, the recognition, the parades, and all that kind of stuff. They're just doing something to do something for other people in need. Because during times like right now, in our times, not really hard or not really easy to find somebody like that. A lot of selfish people, not a lot of selfless people.
Well, did you forget the part that I said I really want recognition?
It's not selfish to want to be your own boss. I mean, be able to do your things on your own time is great.
Go first.
For me, I think it came from back to the first question I answered, the role models that I had growing up. My parents, we lived in a town very similar to Athens, not geographically as large, but probably a similar amount of people and like the same kind of small town life that you run into people all the time. And I'm one of 5, like I said, and we all kind of grew up there. So we were pretty known in our community because like you can't be known in somewhere where you're not. And yeah, and I remember specifically my parents would always volunteer our house for any church event ever. And so growing up, we hosted the youth group during the summers pretty much every week, like the junior high and high school. We would host, we hosted like the music, like worship pastor had his own band, and we hosted like a concert for his band one time. We would use our house for literally anything that like the church or like anyone needed. We knew, my parents knew that the house like was a gift. We are just stewards of everything, and time is one of those things we got to be good stewards of.
You also went to Mexico.
Oh yeah, we
Pretty
did a lot of.
frequently, right?
We live pretty close to the border, and so we do missions trips to different orphanages in Mexico I went a few dozen times growing up, and my dad would lead the trips, and we'd all, like, we had friends down there, and I thought they were my cousins when I was a kid because of how close our relationship was. And then
That's
come
nice.
to find out later, because, you know, a big Mexican family, you never know who you could be related to.
They were his
And so,
Oh, they were?
No.
no, they wouldn't know. But yeah, just being good stewards of what you have, and I think that can translate. That can translate to your home, your money, your time, and ultimately, we're not. Yeah, nothing belongs to us, and we just have to be responsible with what we do have. So.
I have such a multifaceted answer, I feel like, but because we have very different backgrounds, very different stories. I mean, everyone has a different story, but we just have very different backgrounds. My mom did become a Christian. I think I was like 9 or 10 or something like that. But and then I came to know the Lord because I had a crush on a boy, and he invited me to the after school. We called it Higher Ground back where we came from. It was like after school Bible study club thing. You know, he invited me. It's like, okay, I'll go because you're there, and you know that was the end of Courtney. Because the Lord found me and I was born again. And so, yeah, my mom is, I would say, I guess she's pretty servant-hearted, like very similar to his parents, but mostly where I saw it was like within my circle. Like I've had this group of friends since I was 10 or 11 years old. And we did sleepovers every Friday. You know, my parents, they're getting the donuts in the morning and for a quarter or whatever down the street and orange juice, and she's driving to everything. She's volunteering for every dance. Like she served her kids like as much as she could. And but one thing about my mom's faith specifically that I would say spoke to me was her prayer. Like she's a prayer warrior, and I'm so not. Like I struggle with that. I need to sit down with a journal and like actually write out my prayer, or else I'm gonna get distracted and think about or get up and do 7 different things while I'm trying to pray. But anyway, so she just is a prayer warrior, and that I think she's probably been praying for my sister and I, and what church we would be in, what friends we would have, who we'd marry, like just everything since the moment she knew she could. And I think that translates because, I don't know, it's hard to say, like, because if you don't have good parents, it doesn't matter. I mean, that sounds harsh, but like, you don't have to have the good background that, like, an amazing parents that offered up their house and their, you know, their time and all that, like, all the time to be a servant. Like, really what happened is my mom came to know the Lord, and then she changed, and then that changed generations, you know, in my family. And now because of that, like, me and Nate are the first ones on my side of the family who are both, like, we're married, we're both Christians, and now we're raising our children as Christians, and like living out what that looks like. And so I guess I shared all that because I, like, whoever's listening that might be like, well, I didn't have a mom and dad that showed all that to me, or like did all that and taught us from when we're 2 years old how to show up early and set up chairs and do whatever. It's like, really who calls us to do that is the Lord. And it looks very different for a lot of people. And it could be at your church, it could be in a missions trip, or it could be at your job at Starbucks, or, you know, when you're sitting outside with your kids playing in the neighborhood and you're talking to your neighbor. You know, it could look a lot of ways. So that's my answer, I guess. The second layer or level, multifaceted, I said, is I was married before and got divorced, and my world shattered. Like, it shattered, it fell apart. I struggled also with just like really, really deep depression, was diagnosed, put on medication. Like, I just remember that time thinking, like, I don't ever want anyone to ever feel this way ever again. And there's nothing we can do. Like, we can't help that. Like, people are right now, like everywhere, people are shattered, broken, just completely destroyed. But my level of compassion, if I thought I had any before, like, blew up. Like, the Lord really took just the complete and utter brokenness to, like, catapult me into, like, now what can you do with it, you know? And so, and I'm realistic, you know. It's like, he knows, like, if I would have done anything to save my marriage and to stay married and keep my family together. We had 2 kids, adopted, non-biological kids, but because I know that God hates divorce, and I'll be the first one to say it. I am divorced, but God hates it. It's not good. That's just not what it was. Obviously, we didn't get that. I didn't get to keep the marriage and save the marriage. I'm going to be realistic about what God says, what the Word says, but also, man, my heart for people that are divorced, for kids that have divorced parents, or for, like, just, yeah, anyone and everyone that's feeling broken. That's kind of where it stems from for me. So it was like, yeah, maybe I started it a little bit when I was born again, and with my mom and growing up, but like, when God saved me for the second time, I like to say I was born again twice. I think that's when I, like, started to really serve the way that I do now.
My divorce was also key to my testimony too. You know, it's obviously not like how you would like to be delivered, like feel God's grace and, like, his mercy and, like, understanding your election, and your salvation. But, like, my divorce also was key to, like, me living in a new way and, like, pursuing the Lord in a different way. While I would not wish that brokenness and loss of identity and struggle with sense of self, like, who am I, what am I doing, you question your ability to make decisions, like, you know, like, trying to make sure I choose the right partner this time. Like, there is still, you know, worry and anxiety and, like, doubt, like, because I've failed before. So, you know, there's still obviously things to work through, and like, there's a lot that I think is still in progress, but I share with you, like, it can be difficult being like, yes, I am a young divorced person, trying to, like, rebuild. And it's like seeing you further along, like, actually, you know, remarrying and having children and, like, being with a Christian partner. Like, for me, that's very motivating and, like, encouraging, because it's, like, something I look forward to and, like, am planning on. So
That's a great start.
yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, for a while I was like, I can be a single for as long as you need me to be, Lord. Like, I'm fine with that. But I think every Christian man would love to have a, like, Christian woman by his side, like, supporting him. And, like, you know, I think you said it earlier, like, behind every good man is, like, a wonderful woman. So, you know, it's just, this is encouraging. So
Yeah, I if it's okay, I'm just gonna respond to that a little bit. I didn't even want to do it again. I was like, I'm good. Thanks for the opportunity, God, but, you know, it didn't go so well. This happened so fast. If I didn't marry this, I mean, this is like the hand of God, if it's ever been the hand of God. And it's weird talking about it with people that didn't know me before, didn't know him before. It's like, where do you even start? But like, I did a lot of work, like a lot of work, and a lot of people don't do that. And so what happens is, if you unfortunately like go through divorce or something, and you don't do that work, you run away from God. You're the Jonah, you know, and you're gonna pick the same person in a different body. And my
Work.
yeah,
What do you mean? You're not talking about
I'm talking about it.
wages and
No.
talking
Like
I'm talking
healing.
about
Artwork.
healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I went to, so my ex-husband had a full-fledged affair, and I stayed for almost a year after finding out. We tried to fight through it, you know, tried to, you know, go to counseling with him, but then I also personally was in a class for women who are in relationships whose husbands were dealing with that kind of addiction, whether it just be pornography, whether it be physical, like in reality, or both, or, you know, some sort of abandonment and cheating kind of aspect. So I was going to that class once a week in secret, because obviously that stuff's like not stuff you really, everyone's just talking about. And then I met with my mentor almost weekly, if not more than one time a week. And I started therapy. Like I said earlier, like I got on medication. So there were 3 points almost weekly that like I was being held accountable, I was being challenged, really trying to face like this whole thing head on. Not to say like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like you said, oh, I must have done it wrong or picked the wrong person or something like that, which like sometimes he jokes with me is like, you definitely picked the wrong person. But
I don't joke about it.
I know, we won't go there, but like, it's just, it does go deeper. I have found it's like, I didn't just pick that person out of thin air.
Right.
You know, I picked that person because of some longer term issues that stem all the way back to childhood.
Yeah.
So dealing with all of that, like really allowing the Lord, I don't know who says it, Peter, somebody in the Bible, is like, search my heart, oh God. You know, it's like,
David in the Psalms, right?
okay, yeah, I'm really good at like, it says it somewhere.
Brian is the concordance.
Okay, great.
He knows what psalm it is. What
Good
psalm is
team.
it?
Psalm.
Don't pretend like you don't know. You know.
So much pressure.
Actually, it's a. Oh, my bad. It's. I don't know, but continue.
I would not hold it. I would not. I didn't even name the right person, so it's fine. But yeah, I did a lot of the like asking the Lord to search me, and it was uncomfortable and it was hard. And a lot of people don't want to do uncomfortable; they don't want to do hard. And that's what my mentor would tell me a lot. Like, you know, this is you're gonna be thankful, you know, even on days where she would say things and I'd be like, I just like I don't want to continue this conversation. Like, I think I'm done here. And she's like, well, you know, it's too bad. So yeah, that's what I meant by work. I did a lot of work, and she reminded me too, like, if you don't, like, you're just gonna end up choosing the same person and the same problems.
The same self-destructive behavior, more or less. Like, you still find yourself in the same situation, like different person, but still kind of the same person.
Yeah, we're afraid of darkness. I mean, it makes sense to me. I think we're all very similar in that way. And I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. A lot of what motivated me was that I had 2 kids, and I wanted to be able to look them in the eye and look God in the eye and say, I literally left it on the table. There's nothing else I could have done. And if I couldn't say that, then I wasn't done. So I will say, having my kids motivated me. Obviously the fear of the Lord, but some people don't have that motivation. So, but you will find it, because when he came along, I was like, oh, no. no. I think I fell in love like within 3 weeks. And I remember telling my mom, like, it's like, I don't, like, it's a no, like, I don't know what to do. It's just like, I think I'm in love with this man, and it's been like 3 weeks.
So there was a fear for sure. Like, there was like this, I don't want to be ready for this, like, kind of deal. Like, Lord, are you for real right now? Like, have you really sent this person to me already? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially because he didn't even have any red flags. And so, I was looking for him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and you're like trying to find something wrong. And every person I talked to that knew him had nothing bad to say. And I'm just like, come on. Like, there is something. Yeah. And
no, I'm not like. He said like I'm just saying.
But no one had anything bad to say, and I was just like, that's not helpful to me because I need to know, like, you know. So, no, that's what I mean. Like, it had to have been God because it's astounding how quickly and how wonderful this man of God is. So. The Lord uses him to show me what heaven will be like a lot, and I didn't get that for a very long time, so I'm really thankful.
She makes me sound a whole lot better than I actually am.
I can say he farts a lot.
That's just part of being a guy, though, to be honest.
Okay. And so do you.
That wasn't a deal breaker, though. Like, if I found out before we got married, it wouldn't have stopped me.
That's so funny.
I mean, both of you guys have a really beautiful story, though, of God literally using, turning graves into garden, building beauty from ashes. Because, I mean, I have no idea, but like, I could probably guess that like divorce is probably one of the hardest things to go through, especially when you were with that person for like a while, so it wasn't like 1 month and like, but like divorce is probably one of the hardest things to go through in your life. And, you guys going through that. And then both of you have a similar story of like, yes, so God does hate divorce, right? But even though he hates it, he still used that for ultimately your good, He still used that to bring you even closer to him, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you as well. So I think that's just, as you guys were talking the whole time, is just awesome, example of God using something so detrimental and horrible and using it for ultimate good. It's really beautiful.
Amen.
That's the gospel.
It's the gospel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think about it just kind of, it's hard how do I put my thoughts together? You don't see a whole lot of the time when people get divorced, like them getting deeper in their faith with God. It's because I would say it's not just one person's fault. Like, it takes two to tango, and I'm not, like, I'll tell Courtney, I don't believe it was, like, obviously he shouldn't have cheated on her, but ultimately, like, you are supposed to be one with each other. You were supposed to be each other's accountability partners. Like, so you can't just blame one person. And knowing that there's fault on both sides, regardless of how much, I don't think it's super common to get deeper with God post-divorce, the way that you two obviously did. And so that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because, I had a similar situation that, became the grounds for the divorce. Was the abandonment and infidelity on the other side. But to Nate's point, and it's like I naturally went there in my head, like, what could I have done differently? Like, to maybe make them want to continue to commit to the project. So we talk about healing, we talk about therapy. I did quite a bit of therapy. Like when I discovered the affair, we tried to go to couples therapy. And after a few sessions, like she kind of gave up, but I wanted to keep going. So our therapist became my therapist. And one of the things that she told me was a marriage is like a project, and your vision, like the scope and the vision of the project, like it has to be the same for the two people. And it's natural over time that scope gets revised, the vision gets revised, things happen to people. Someone loses a family member, someone goes through some hardship, a child gets very sick, like whatever it is, like you hit bumps in the road, the scope and vision slightly change, the mechanics of the relationship, the way we operate changes, but it's like we're still on the same page, we're still committed to the same project. What happens is, like when divorce becomes imminent, is when both parties have completely lost track of the scope and the vision. And it's like one person has a completely different one from the other. And like your communication hasn't been effective enough to kind of keep up. Because like another thing she said is like expectations ruin a marriage. They ruin a relationship in general. So like whether it's a friendship or a committed relationship like a marriage, like your expectations that you are kind of subconsciously putting on the other person, that can eventually ruin that relationship. So it's like those expectations have to be communicated constantly for the relationship to keep up. Because in some ways, you're not the same person you were even just last week. Like you grow in your faith more, maybe something happens at work that gives you a new perspective on life, or something happens to a friend or a family member. So it's like, I feel like communication is so important. And I think that's really one of the big things I took away. Like when I look at myself and like how I could have done better, like was better communication habits. And I think it's key, like for people trying to have a successful marriage, that communication piece is of paramount importance. So.
I'm not here to blame everybody who got divorced.
No one thought that.
Okay. I didn't want it to come off that way.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I never pictured myself marrying a divorced woman, and that's something that I guess I think about when people talk about how she was divorced. We came from such two completely different lives, down to even like the things that we're interested in. Like we are different people, but God brought us together for some cool, to change some lives. So.
I think you already have.
Yeah.
To an extent. Like, I think even now, like as new as you are in this community, like I'm also very new to this church community, but like people talk very highly of you too, and like how much you've done, like Todd does too. So just like, I think you were certainly brought together for a reason, and like the Lord brought you together for this. So, again, it's very encouraging to see.
I think God like gave me him, and my edification is not the right word. My sanctification. Thank you. I was like, it's an S. Has continued. Into marriage, and anyone who's been married knows that is the case. But yeah, because we are different, so it's easy to find those things, and that is something that I appreciate about you a lot, is you don't shy away from the truth. He is a quieter, like a meeker spirit, but he's strong in his faith, and we'll say it like it is. You just apologized, and you didn't even need to apologize because you felt like you came on too strong or something, but that's I appreciate about him. And something that he challenged me in is having children, and I really what's funny is, I brought into it, but they weren't mine biologically, and I wasn't really interested in having children in general, but certainly not birthing them. And he's challenged that in me a lot. He's like, that is literally what God created you to do. So, it's like kind of get over yourself. And we had to have that talk before we got married, because he can't be marrying someone that has put her foot down on not having children if he wants like 16. Yeah. So
not quite 16.
Yeah, but we did. And, no, literally.
At least 3 or 4. So.
You heard he comes from 5, which is starting to not even sound like that many because he's got such a big family.
The day that my wife and I, Caitlin and I, were talking to you guys, that we were driving home, and I told Caitlin, I was like, it's really funny because you come from a Mexican family and I come from a Mexican family, and we're very like-minded in that, like, kids, and like I really want a lot of kids. And I think at the very beginning Caitlin was like, yeah, maybe like 2 or something, and now she's like, yeah. And like all of them, and I'm like, cool.
All of them.
I got to see
it was funny because anyways.
Yeah, it's cool when you have a family and you're able to like grow up together and you love each other, and not all families are going to be like picture perfect. Like there's always going to be a mess somewhere in the mix. But yeah, and now all of us are Christians, we're adults, and we love each other. And it's like every time we ever hang out, it's like a mini party. We just talk, and it's like built-in friends, but that love Jesus, and you can't escape them. And it's like more accountability and more resources for various, whatever gifts you have, you might be lacking in, like a sibling might have it. Like I feel like I have a connection to execute anything that I set my mind to, just because of the family that I have. And it teaches you how to be resourceful, I guess. Yeah.
I think I remember when you painted this room. Mm-hmm. Didn't you say, I've never done this before? Or you said something like that. I was like, oh, you were so confident.
I've never done this before.
We were stapling up plastic everywhere. You had the full hazmat suit on. Mm-hmm. You're like, zip, never done this before.
I've never done anything like a warehouse project before, but painting my basement was like one of the last things we did before it was complete, and I did spray paint that, but I'd never done any work for anybody else other than myself in this capacity, I guess. But, yeah.
Can we go back? I would love to hear more about some advice you can give people who are, anybody really around the table, but that are experiencing the low from divorce and either wanting to just stay there, sit there, soak, and sour there. How do they do the hard, honest work of moving to a position of health to just for their own benefit, whether or not there's somebody else that comes in their life?
How can you, me, the self, start to rebuild post-divorce? And it is a tough question. And I mean, I have to go back to